Greetings, this is another Sprocket video and today I'm going to show you my latest creations. So, our first subject is something I actually started working on first, then I interrupted myself with the two next tanks in this video, and then I ended up finishing this one last just yesterday as of recording actually. So yeah, with minor hiccups I finished this one, and here it would be the AGS 105-10. So it is a rework of an older tank, which it actually isn't that old. It's not like it's a 3-year-old design like anything, but still I thought it would be nice to rework it, and this is what it ended up looking like. So first and foremost, I decided to ditch the angled side armor so I can put many of these stowage boxes in its place. The exhaust pipes are awkwardly placed right around here, and there's smaller stowage boxes right on the rear. Now, interestingly enough, this thing is quite deceptive in multiple ways. So you would think that it has absolutely zero gun depression, because, I mean, look here. And while that's quite true for gun depression over the front, it actually does have a really nice gun depression over the sides and rear. It actually has 9 degrees of gun depression to be precise. And despite being powered by a 610 horsepower engine and weighing 63 tons, this thing just turns rapidly. I mean, look at this. You would probably expect it to turn half as quickly as this. So yes, this tank is quite deceptive, and one thing it most certainly signals very effectively is its dangerous gun. It has quite decent pen, although not that much, to be entirely honest. But I mean, it's still a long 130mm gun, so it is definitely something to be feared. And as for the armor profile, yeah, this thing is built like a brick wall. Even the shallower angle mid plate is quite thick. The upper plate is, well, just forget about it really. And as for the turret, there are some places where the armor profile kinda falls apart. It drops down to 86 here, but that's mostly because of the janky internal layout of the armor. So yeah, that's one thing that this game does not do very well. It's complex armor meshes like this with smoothing. That definitely needs to be worked on some more. But otherwise, this thing is quite survivable. It's decently quick for a 63-ton tank, and overall it's pretty damn good. Alright, so before I show you the next subject of this video, here's a reminder of the tank I previously considered to be my very best, and it is the AGS turul main battle tank. And the idea behind this one is what if the revolution of 1956 didn't happen, and the Soviet Union later allowed Hungary to design their own main battle tanks heavily based around the T-72. And this would be the theoretical outcome of that tank program. So yeah, it's basically a T-72 at home in basically every regard. It weighs 48 tons, so it's quite heavy for a T-72 like tank. At least a base model. Let's be real here, the upgraded T-72s are much heavier. And you can see this weird shaping on the hull. I actually borrowed that feature from Scrap Mechanic, where the turul tanks actually originated from. Here is the turul 2 as an example, because I probably intentionally or accidentally deleted the turul 1 from my scrap mechanic inventory, so yeah, that thing has been lost for years and years now. Anyway, so here's the turul 2, and I interpreted the armor layout as this. So here's the turul 3, here the exact same armor profile layout thing, and then the turul 4, which also has this weird armor shaping, and I wanted to carry that feature over to Sprocket as well, and spoiler alert, I'm going to show you the turul 2 next. And the turul 1 also has this feature, and as you might have guessed it, the turul 2 does also have this feature. So yes, this is the new and improved turul, and as I made some lore to the turul 1, I extended that lore a little bit with this one, and the lore behind this thing is, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Hungary decided that they wanted to upgrade their old turul main battle tanks. However, after the economic fallout with a much better economy, well, you could imagine that they did not have the money to do that, so this is basically a mid-90s tank, but made in the early 2000s, so half a decade later, or even a decade later, if we need to be realistic somewhat. So yes, it's a beefy tank. Let's just say that it weighs 55 tons, so it's a good 7 tons heavier than the previous turul, but the protection is much better. So here is the composite armor I used for both the hull and the turret. Although with the turret it's a little bit different, I'm going to show you it next. And this kind of armor can absorb anything that penetrates up to 500 millimeters. So you have to have quite a lot of pen, around 550 at minimum, to go through this armor. Now onto the turret. It's basically the exact same thing, and yes, I made the turret into 2 pieces, just so I can show you the armor profile of the turret, which you probably don't see. There you go. So it's basically the exact same idea, except really the bread and butter of this turret armor is this right here. Without it, basically it would fall apart very quickly. And as you can see, it does cover all of these sides, and with the exception of the gun mantlet, which is considerably weaker, the entire front too. And another thing about this is it no longer has a 610 horsepower engine. No, it has a 900 horsepower engine with a nice engine deck on top of it. Which, by the way, I made it as a separate compartment, so it's very removable. I thought I would mention this. You know what? I think I told you enough about this tank. Let's see this thing in action. And one thing you might be surprised about is that I did bother making a secondary gun, a functional secondary gun, and actually it's worth noting that it is a bit different from the regular 13mm machine gun I usually put on my tanks, as it has a very different trigger section and a muzzle brake. So I actually made this new gun from the ground up. So that's a bit interesting to mention. And let's just snipe for now. The reload is really good on this thing. It's around 4 seconds, which might be a bit overkill and a bit of a compensation for something. Mostly for the penetration, which This thing does not have a lot of. After all, this is basically the exact same gun as the turul one, and that did not have that much penetration, but I mean, it does work. What can I say? I can't really complain. Greetings. That was a miserable shot. Oh fuck. Yeah, I kinda forgot that my teammate can do that. Alright, let's try that again, but now without the secondary gun, so my stupid idiot motherfucker teammate does not shoot me in the back. Alright, here we go again. That was a nice hit. Although I do have to be cautious because these things can and will penetrate my side if I give them the opportunity. So let's be a bit careful because I'm not indestructible. As you might see, perhaps. Yeah, the main difficulty with this one is avoiding getting shot in the external fuel tanks, of all things, that shouldn't kill me in reality, but in this game that's not really the case. Alright, there is our next target. So let's take it out. Not for a dinner though. And the last one. Nice. I think that one is still alive, although very much disabled, so the victory screen doesn't appear. Although that's kind of fortunate considering the fact that you can't disable it with the U key. So yeah, and overall I would say that aside from that hiccup with the external fuel tank, this thing does pretty damn well. So yes, this would be the Turul 2 main battle tank in all its glory. And if you are curious about what this says, it's an inside joke. Also, because I did not have the opportunity to show this, this is the main gun sight, and this is the sight of the machine gun. So yes, I can aim with this one separately. Anyway, so with the last subject of the video, I need to tell you to basically leave and watch this video first, because in this video I show off something special and I explain it there way better than I could do it now in a shorter amount of time. So please do take the time to watch this video first and then return to this one a bit later. So thank you if you followed my my advice. So if you have seen the video just about now, I hope you are quite familiar with the tardigrade 2 by now. So it's basically a slight upgrade over the tardigrade 1, which both of these tanks have a special armor which consists entirely of auto-bounce angles. 1mm thick armor plates, I might add. And these tanks went from completely unkillable, impenetrable beasts to being 40-something ton paper mache piñatas that you can penetrate even with slingshot. So yeah, that fall from grace was quite traumatic for me. So of course I had to remake my best main battle tank ever. So here the new and improved tardigrade 2 would be. I worked 40-something hours on this. Please appreciate it. I am very proud of it. Was it worth it? I cannot state the answer for certain, but I mean, I'm proud of it. What can I say? This looks beautiful. I basically had not changed the tardigrade 2 at all. I did not need to. The design itself was perfect already. The biggest difference probably is that this side armor is not as chunky as it once was, because it's no longer just autobounce ankles that need a lot of space. But other than that, I mean, the remote weapon station is quite a bit different, but it's still a remote weapon station that the original one had to an extent. It still has the mine plow, which actually, now that I can model multiple compartments separately, I could actually make this semi-functional, although you cannot drive around in the tardigrade 2 while the mine plow is down like this, because you'll just get yourself stuck on the ground for no reason. So yes, it's impractical, but it looks cool. Otherwise, there's some spaced armor over here on the front. The entire turret front is just spaced armor basically. The sides have this cage armor for 80 GM protection. On top of that, it has sensors for the active protection system, which you can see right here. There are quite a lot of smoke grenades. This weather antenna thing I borrowed from the Turul 2, and I already showed you the remote weapon station with a 37mm autocannon and the previously seen improved machine gun, but a bit redesigned so it can fit into this remote weapon system station thing. Anyway, so this thing is quite impressive for many reasons. For once, the commander's independent sight actually works independently, and both the sight and the remote weapon station do work themselves, and I'm now firing the 37mm autocannon, which is actually quite bad, to be honest. Does not have the best rate of fire, but I think it's enough. I mean, you cannot be anti-infantry enough in a tank, so this kind of a firepower is, I would say, adequate. But if it wasn't, you have the option to fire two of these 205mm Demolisher 80 GMs, which are quite literally just decorations, but let's just pretend they work. And the 130mm gun is quite a lot better than the one on the Turul 2 because of longer shells, which are stored right around here, as you would probably expect, because of the blowout panels. And a couple cool features about this is that I can close up the gunner's sights, both of them, and the commander's sight as well. It's a bit hard to grab these things, but I mean, I can do that, so that's kinda cool. And yes, this is the tardigrade 2, and you might ask, well, where's the tardigrade 1? Under all of that spaced armor, actually. I couldn't show you this feature on the tardigrade 2, but since the tardigrade 1 does not have the absurd spaced armor on the turret, I can show you that you can open up the driver's hatch and make Jacob look out from here. So yeah, that's kinda cool, I guess. And you might also notice that the tardigrade 1 has a license plate while the tardigrade 2 doesn't, and that's because basically this is a what can we do type of prototype, while this is quite literally just a Leopard 2A4 at home. So it is capable of being a service vehicle. It's simple enough, it's good enough, it's just straight up is a service vehicle material. So yeah, that's basically the main difference. And while I ignored the armor profile question, up until now it does have a quite a reliable spaced armor protection, or composite armor I should say, which basically is as effective as it is on the Turul 2, but the sides are not covered by it, and yeah, I guess that's about it really. Also here is the engine deck, which I almost forgot to show you. It's quite open actually. This entire thing is just vents, almost nothing else. And I did make a custom fuel barrel decorative things for its rear, and they are actually functional, so you can remove the barrel, but only after you unlocked these holder things. So yes, it's kinda neat, I would say. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the dislike button. If not, hit the dislike button, and tell me in the comments what you think of the tardigrade 2 and the turul 2 main battle tanks, and also the heavy tank I showed off at the beginning of the video. So yeah, thanks for paying attention. Bye.